What's going on, everybody? So, I started a dad blog, Dadvice for dads, a little while ago. I haven't really been writing as much as I would have liked to. I mean, being a parent takes up a lot of time. As most parents know, looking after a child takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. I just don't have the motivation to actually start writing and, writing 250 to 300, worded blogs. Whereas, I could make like a 2-minute video for you guys. So for my next blog, I was going to write about the pros and cons, a couple of pros and cons of being a parent. So I decided to make it into a video. So, pros and cons of being a parent. Pros. The pros are parent privileges. Now, with becoming a parent, you get a lot of privileges like, parent parking at supermarkets, which is always a plus when you want to go there. Parent rooms when you're at the mall. My daughter's breastfed, so when my wife doesn't really feel like, popping a boobie out in public in the food court, there's parent rooms there with sick ass chairs, and you can, recline back, and, there's little stalls. I mean, yeah, women shouldn't have to really do that, but some women would prefer to because, they're just not necessarily comfortable with other people looking at them while they're breastfeeding. So the other parent privilege is, I'm a church guy, so I go to church. One of the parent privileges there are the chairs at the back. Now, the chairs at the back, the nursing chairs for parents, they are so comfortable. A lot more comfortable than what the rest of the congregation are sitting on. It's nice if you just want to hold baby while they're sleeping and you sort of just slowly doze off a little bit. Sorry, Pastor Pete, I don't actually doze off when you speak. That was just for the sake of the video. Obviously, one of the pros is, you get to nurture this small being into, a big ugly monster like you are. Another great pro of being a parent is you make so many awesome parent friends. Now, we had friends who had become parents before us, but we joined an antenatal class, and through that, my wife was actually, she's not from here, she's not from, the town that I'm from, but through that, she was actually able to make more friends, which is great. I mean, you get to make cool friendships with people who you probably never would have if you didn't end up having a baby. And obviously, you get to experience the apparently most beautiful thing that you will ever experience in your life, which is childbirth. Most beautiful experience, I probably wouldn't call it, but it definitely was an experience in itself, and one that it was difficult for me. It was very difficult for me to, be in that situation where my wife was, just completely and utterly vulnerable, and I couldn't do anything about it. All I could do was be there. And I think for males, that is probably one of the hardest things, is that, as much as you would want, to take that pain away, you just simply can't. You have to write it out, not necessarily take a seat, the show's about to start, but, there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do except, be there, be the support, that you're meant to be the person whose hand your wife is going to absolutely annihilate. Now, the cons of being a parent, they don't necessarily outweigh the pros, because being a parent's so cool. I love being a dad. But there are cons. I mean, just like with anything in life, there are cons. Number one is actually other parents, I guess you could say. Not necessarily other parents, maybe other people. When my wife was still pregnant, we would get so many people coming up to us, giving us their horror stories of birth, or having no sleep, of having children that play up during eating time. You don't tell that to new parents. That's probably one of the most annoying things I've ever experienced whilst being a parent. And probably, you know, this, I thought I'd never experience this. I thought it was just a myth, but it's actually not. I experienced it for myself, and it was probably one of the most biggest insults I've ever had. The single most biggest insult I've ever had in my entire life. So I was sitting at the back of church one day, obviously in the nice comfy parent chair, clearly, and Macy was in her car seat, she was asleep, and I was sitting at the back drinking my coffee, and this lady walks past, and she says to me,
"Babysitting, are you?"
It all sort of stopped for a second, and I thought, hang on a minute, I'm actually a dad. I'm not a babysitter. I'm a flippin' father. What the heck is wrong with you? Why would you say that I'm babysitting? What kind of a thing is that to say to a parent? Anyhow, so I said back to her, no, just parenting actually. Like, that is probably the most biggest insult I have ever got, ever. Being called a babysitter instead of a father. What kind of sick person would do that? Terrible, terrible person.